Hey everyone, this is Puka back with another video in our series of decks for beginner players in the Pokemon TCG. In the past we've covered all sorts of different decks, so please, if you're just getting started into the game and you want some new ideas, take a look at some of those other videos. They'll really help you build a competitive deck. It's kind of simple, straightforward, and it'll really help you learn how to play the game. Now in this one, we're going with another kind of straightforward but powerful strategy. That's going to be the Team Plasma deck. Now this deck has been very strong since it came out, and it's not too difficult to learn, so we'll go ahead and take a look at it. It's going to revolve around this Plasma Kyurem. Your Pokemon are Team Plasma Pokemon, meaning they have some benefits and some disadvantages as well, but we're going to focus more on the benefits than anything else. But let's just look at the attacks. Frost Spear, for 1 water and 1 colorless energy, does 30 damage and then 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Very strong. You're going to be using this attack quite often, and honestly, it is one of the best attacks in the game. It can hit the bench, and it can also hit the active Pokemon for a low cost. So it's very good. And then you have the big attack, Blizzard Burn, does 120 damage for 2 water and 1 colorless, and then Kyurem cannot attack during your next turn, but usually when you're using this attack, you're going to take something down. So, very powerful. Both attacks are extremely good. A non-EX Pokemon, so only gives up 1 prize when knocked out. 130 HP, so very strong. And again, this is what you're going to be attacking with most of the time. We're going to have 4 of these in the deck, just because you want to be attacking with it so often. Now, one of the reasons why this is so strong is because of Deoxys EX. It has 170 HP. It has a solid attack in Helix Force, does 30 damage, plus 30 more for each energy attached to the defending Pokemon, but only if you have a Plasma energy attached to Deoxys EX, which we'll get to later. Now, we can use this attack. It's very good, but most of the time, Deoxys will be sitting on your bench, supporting your other Pokemon with its ability Power Connect. Your Team Plasma Pokemon's attacks, excluding Deoxys, which is important. Don't forget that. Deoxys does not get a boost from this. But your Team Plasma Pokemon's attacks do 10 more damage to the active Pokemon. So, let's go back to Kyurem's Frost Spear. Say we have 3 of these Deoxys EX in play. Now, all of a sudden, Frost Spear is doing 60 and 32 bench Pokemon. Blizzard Burn is doing 150 damage. So you can see how quickly this card can become extremely strong. So these two work together extremely well. And then your final Pokemon is going to be Thundurus EX, 170 HP. The attack you want to be using most of the time here is Raiden Knuckle, 30 damage, and then attach an energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched Team Plasma Pokemon. Again, this can get the benefit from Deoxys EX's Power Connect, so then Raiden Knuckle can start doing even bigger amounts of damage, while also powering up other Pokemon. So this is a very good support Pokemon. If you're having struggles powering up enough Kyurems, this can definitely help for a 1 energy attack, power up something else in the process. So those are your Pokemon, fairly simple. We'll get to the supporter cards. Professor Juniper, discard your hand and draw 7 cards. We're pretty much always going to play 4 of these. Same with N. It's one of the best supporters in the game, if not the best. Each player shuffles in and then draws cards equal to the remaining prize cards. So, good draw card early game, you'll draw 6 cards. Later in the game, it'll be good as disruption for your opponent, putting them at a low hand size. The other supporters we have are Colress. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw a number of cards equal to the number of benched Pokemon. So this can be anywhere from 0 to 10. Normally we have a large bench with this deck, so we're going to be drawing pretty good numbers with Colress. And then the final supporter is Skyla. Search your deck for a trainer and put it into your hand, which can help you search for the correct things at the correct times. Now, the item cards in this deck are pretty important. The first one we're going to look at is Colress Machine. Search your deck for a Plasma Energy card and attach it to one of your Team Plasma Pokemon. This allows you to bypass the rule where you're only allowed to attach 1 energy per turn. Colress Machine is what makes this deck work. It gives you that extra energy acceleration. You get to search for this plasma energy, which really there's nothing special about it, but you get to search for it with Chorus Machine, and then Deoxys EX gets a boost from Helix Force as well, if you have this plasma energy attached. So it only provides colorless energy, but sometimes that's all you need. I mean, if you take a look at Kyurem's attack, they both take a colorless energy, so Chorus Machine helps you fulfill those costs. Then we're going to play for Pokemon Catcher. This is a very aggressive deck, so we want to be targeting down things that are potentially scary. So Pokemon Catcher, flip a coin. If heads, switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with the active Pokemon. So you get to basically, if you flip heads, snag a Pokemon from your opponent's bench and try to get rid of that when you can. The other cards we're going to look at are Switch. It's pretty simple. Switch your active Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. So you'll see Kyurem has a 3 retreat cost, Blizzard Burn. The effect can be reset if it goes to the bench. So if you play a Switch, then you can retreat and then bring up Kyurem again. And then you can use Blizzard Burn on the following turn. Deoxys EX has a 2 retreat cost. So we want to play lots of Switch cards to be able to move our Pokemon around at will. Then we have Team Plasma Ball. Just allows you to search for a Team Plasma Pokemon and put it into your hand. This allows you to search out all the Pokemon you have in the deck. Pretty good card to have. So we have 3 of these. And then we have 2 Tool Scrapper. Discard 2 Pokemon tool cards in play. Now we need this card because, let's see if I can pull this up real quick. There's a card called Silver Mirror. We'll go ahead over here, my collection, and pull this up if I can type silver correctly. Alright, so Silver Mirror. Prevent all effects of attacks, including damage, done to the Pokemon this card is attached to by your opponent's Team Plasma Pokemon. So, effectively, your Pokemon will be completely walled by this card if it's attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon. And it's a Pokemon tool. So let's go back to our deck. Therefore, we need Tool Scrapper, probably at least 2 in the deck, to go ahead and discard those Silver Mirrors from your opponent's Pokemon, so that you can continue to attack them and, actually knock them out and win. This can also be useful against all sorts of other decks. So Tool Scrapper is a card we have. And then we have Silver Bangle as well, which makes your Kyurem's attacks do 30 more to the opponent's EX Pokemon. So if we think about it, Blizzard Burn does 120 damage, and then if we include Deoxys EX, let's say we get 3 of these in play, then Blizzard Burn is doing 150 damage, and then we attach the Silver Bangle. Now Blizzard Burn is doing 180 damage. Now this can knock out pretty much every Pokemon EX in the format, so this is a very powerful card to have in order to take it right to those Pokemon EX and knock them out in one hit. Very, very important. An interesting card we have is going to be Frozen City. It's a stadium card. It stays out there. Whenever any player attaches an energy from his or her hand to one of his or her Pokemon, excluding Team Plasma Pokemon, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. So this is very useful. Your Pokemon are unaffected by this stadium card because you have all Team Plasma Pokemon. But any other kind of Pokemon your opponent attaches to will be taking 2 damage counters each time they attach an energy. This can be very good to build up damage and make knockouts easier on your side. So we play 3 Frozen City to try to take advantage of the fact that we are Team Plasma Pokemon. And then finally we have Computer Search, our ace-spec card. Very simple. Discard 2 cards and then search for any card. Pretty simple. Very powerful though. Allows you to search for anything when you need it. And also, probably an ace-spec you're going to be able to use every time. You can only have 1 ace-spec card in your deck, so we're going to choose this one, since our focus is to set up as quickly as possible. Then finally we have the energy. Our energy are fairly straightforward. Blend Energy provides both water and lightning, so that's going to help us power up Thundurus and the Kyurem. So we have 4 of those. Then we have the 4 Plasma Energy we've looked at already. And then the 4 Prism Energy. It provides any kind of energy if it's attached to a basic Pokemon. So if we need a Psychic Energy, we can put that on Deoxys. If we need a Lightning, put it on Thundurus. If we need a water, put it on Kyurem. It provides any of them. It's only one energy at a time, but it can be every type. So, very important since we run so many different types of Pokemon. And then finally we run just one water because I felt like we may need one extra energy in here. And since Kyurem is your main attacker, you want to be able to power that up. Alright, so that is the basis of the deck. Hopefully you get a good feel for what it looks like and what you're trying to do. And let's go ahead and take a look at a game that I played with it, just so you get an idea of how it looks in action. So it looks like we're getting started up, and we'll have the coin flip to see who goes first. And it looks like I am going to go first. The recent rule changes did hurt this deck somewhat because you're not able to attack if you go first anymore. So it's more difficult to be aggressive in the early going. But you still want to go first in order to get those crucial energy attachments before your opponent gets a chance to take a turn. So we'll go ahead and play a Team Plasma Ball, searching for a Kyurem. Then we'll play another one, searching for a Deoxys EX, since we want a bunch of those in play in order to power up our attacks. And then we'll go ahead and play a Skyla here. We do not have a draw supporter for the following turn, so we'll take that Professor Juniper, attach the water to Kyurem, put the Frozen City into play to try to start adding up damage on our opponent's field if they want to attach energy. And then all we can do is pass on the first turn. But that was a very strong opening. We got the Kyurem down. We have 2 Deoxys EX in play. We have an energy in play. And we'll have to see what happens from here. This looks like some sort of a Blastoise Keldeo deck. This is a very popular archetype. And we see my opponent plays a Skyla and grabs a Stadium right away, understanding how devastating that Frozen City is. So we're forcing our opponent to go out of their way just to get rid of our Frozen City, and then we can just play down another one. So we play a lot of Stadium cards. It's very helpful. Now here, we don't like that Squirtle. We have 3 Deoxys EX in play, so we're going to play Pokemon Catcher, get a Tails. This time we get a Heads, so we'll go ahead and bring out Squirtle, play a switch into the Kyurem, and then we can Frost Spear for 30 plus 30 from Deoxys EX's Power Connect. And then knock out the Squirtle on the second turn of the game, also putting 30 on the Keldeo EX. So again, very strong opening on our side. Now we do see a Magikarp. We don't see that too often. There might be some sort of a Tech Gyarados line that we may have to look at some point. Could be a strong card later in the game. Right now we don't mind that too much because it has 30 HP, so that's just another target for our Frost Spear. And then we're going to have Keldeo EX rush in, and then my opponent will pass once again. So we have another switch here. You can see how important switch is. I decided not to attach the plasma energy there because if we want to attach, normally we want it to be a colored energy, a blend, prism, or a water, because we can use Chorus Machine to pull the plasma energy out of the deck. Sometimes you have to attach the plasma, but here we didn't have to. And we're just going to go ahead and Frost Spear. We now have 4 Deoxys EX in play. Kyurem is doing tons of damage, and we got to go ahead with the Frost Spear and the knockout on the Magikarp. So we are just rolling along here so far. My opponent plays another Escape Rope, so I have to promote a Pokemon. I decided to promote Deoxys EX since I value Kyurem much more right now since it has the energy cards attached. I want to be able to save my Kyurem. I don't mind too much. If a Deoxys EX is knocked out at this point, we have all 4 in play. So we can live with just 3 of them if it does happen to be knocked out. And now we'll see. My opponent is powering up the Keldeo EX, taking that damage from the Frost Spear, or from the Frozen City. I apologize. And now I can go ahead and play a Team Plasma Ball. We don't really need to take anything. I'm just playing it because there's not really anything we need to get anymore. So I don't want to draw that again. I'm just going to go ahead and play it. And we'll attach to the benched Kyurem. And we're going to play Chorus, trying to hit a switch here. And it looks like we got the computer search. I'll go ahead and discard the Tool Scrapper. And the N, it doesn't look like this is a deck that plays any tools we have to worry about. So we'll go ahead and switch. Grab that with the computer search and switch into the Kyurem. Play a Colress Machine. To get an extra energy in play, we'll put that on the bench. Kyurem. And then go ahead with the Frost Spear, knocking out the Keldeo. Then we'll target down the Blastoise, since Squirtle has an ability that blocks damage to itself while it's on the bench. So we'll just go ahead and put the damage on the Blastoise, because we can't put it anywhere else. And then collect our 2 prizes from knocking out the Keldeo EX. We do get 2 Kyurem out of the prizes, so those are... Boy, that would have been really bad if this were a closer game and we didn't have access to those. That can happen sometimes. Cards are stuck in your prize cards. So we pulled out 2 of them. And now it looks like we're in a very good position to win this game at this point. Played the Tool Scrapper just to get rid of that. Again, I don't believe my opponent plays any Silver Mirrors or anything like that. I may have wanted to hold on to that in case there is a Silver Mirror in that deck. Because once that's stuck in play, there's nothing our deck can do about it, right? We don't have any non-Team Plasma Pokemon, so in general, be very cautious with your Tool Scrapper cards. I got a little careless there. That could definitely come back to bite you. But looks like here we'll be okay. We have a firm control of this game. We're up 6-1 in prize cards. We've been putting on pressure since the second turn of the game, getting knockouts almost every single turn. And now we see an N from my opponent, but I get a Professor Juniper off of my 1 card. And then we see my opponent using Blastoise's ability to attach 2 water to that Suicune. And then all my opponent can do is pass, and we draw the Colress Machine. So we'll put the energy on the active Kyurem and then Blizzard Burn for 160 damage to end the game. So that should be a pretty good demonstration of what the deck can do. Very fast and powerful, and gives you a very good chance to just be aggressive. And this is probably a good deck for beginners to learn just how to play the game and how to interact with other decks and react in certain situations. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll have some more for you soon. I'm Puka from the Top Cut, and I will see you guys next time.